If you're a newbie trying to source from platforms like 168, like the direct to supplier methods, and you want to prevent getting your money scammed out of, listen to this video. So let's call this person Mark, and Mark finds a deal 168 for a specific good that he resells in his e-commerce store, let's say in the US. And the price is like 50% off of what it usually would be when you buy it at wholesale. Well, he contacts this 168 supplier online, and it turns out that the 168 supplier, not that Mark knew this, but they knew this, they put a fake price on the platform just to get your attention. So a lot of the times they'll put fake pricing just to attract more customers they would have never gotten if they put a different kind of price. I call this fraud, they call this marketing. So then they go ahead, we can provide this pricing, but however, 168 charges us like 20% to fulfill these orders. So better to pay us directly via bank transfer or Alipay, WeChat Pay, we have that established. Well, Mark wants to go ahead, it's raining a little bit, I'll still chug through it, but I'm gonna head the other direction. It's like, okay. So Mark goes through and pays them directly on Alipay, and lo and behold, the supplier ran away and had nothing to do with it. Now, it's a good thing I have some trees here to block the rain, but it's not enough. Oh boy, it's gonna be interesting. Okay, back to the topic. So how do you avoid this from happening if you want to actually deal with the supplier directly? Well, 168 actually has an escrow. So when you pay on 168 directly, the supplier, unless they're like a super supplier, usually doesn't receive the funds immediately. It's usually saved in escrow for a specific amount of time, usually 7 days, and then it's get to the supplier. This gives pressure to the supplier to actually fulfill on the order accurately and not scam you. You should learn how to use this if you're doing it for the first time. Now do realize that if you're buying on 168 from the first time, if you haven't handled the payment method properly, which can be a big pain in the ass, then you're gonna run into problems. But the point of this is that you wanna make sure that the 168 suppliers has another feature that says 7-day no questions asked returns. You want to avoid the ones that will give you problems like, oh no, we have a good quality, so we don't do that 7-day return. And that's actually quite common. And that's a big difference between 168 and Taobao, because Taobao usually has a 7-day return universally, but 168 kind of skirt the rules and not do that. And they work as like a wholesale market, not so much as a retail market. So you want to make sure you select the 1688. Oh man, it's gonna be a bad day. I need to change shirts. 1688, 7-day supply, and then do that. And then you want to stay on the timeline, because if the 7 days runs out, so that's why I always recommend you have a third party to verify your products, at least verify the quantity and the amount, so that you can click confirmed receipt versus just letting it get shipped to your final country, so that you can deal with it while the product is still in the country of China before they leave, and then do that. I'll show you another story. So these suppliers can get kind of sneaky sometimes. Even established ones that I had this supplier that was, let's just say they supplied shoes, purses, all that, and they had good business with this specific customer. However, all of a sudden, after years of doing business with this person, their 168 account wasn't working. And it's not that they weren't doing business anymore, it's just that they were going under a foreclosure. But of course, they're not going to announce that. So what happened is, hey, we can continue doing the orders if we've been doing orders with you for a while, but you got to pay us direct and then we'll pay you back. Well, we ended up paying around $3,000, and yeah, it didn't work out. That supplier actually went bankrupt and we ended up losing money on that deal. So it's always very important to keep the escrow payments on 168 if it's your first time buying from 168. Now, if you need help navigating through this, I've actually made a video about how to get refunds on 1688, and you can check right here if you want to see the video. But yeah, it's pouring down. I need to get out of here.